I feel it's important as an Indigenous person to always be evidence-based. I rely on narrative and story, but it's really, really important to me that I'm able to point to the sources that show the truth of what I'm trying to talk about. And that's why I fall back on the research so often. A colleague of mine has called this process sleuthing in the archive, and I really like that term because it seems more real to me than academic research. So my presentation today will review the results of my sleuthing in the archive and the account of history that I arrived at in the process. This exhibition records a journey that began in 2014 when I started thinking about the bifurcated worldview that describes our Earth divided in two. You know, the old world and the new world. This curious binary image and all it attempts to simultaneously describe and obscure became a bit of an obsession for me. And I began to think more and more about Christopher Columbus, because it seemed that he and his voyages were somehow at the root of this concept of a two-part world, an ideology under which we continue to labor even today, 530 years after Columbus first set foot on the Americas. To find Columbus, I traveled to his birthplace in Genoa, Italy. And from there I went to Spain, where he sailed from and where he died. I was looking for records of his life, hoping to get my hands on the truth about the man and his ideas. But several months into that search, I realized that I was barking up the wrong tree. Whether Columbus was a man who had actually existed or whether he was merely a figure of myth no longer seemed important to me. I'd lost interest in the minutiae and fabric of his life, and I began to look beyond Columbus himself at something more abstract and more desperately important.